The other thing I want to bring up about the Cubs is, much to your chagrin and much to my enjoyment, is my favorite segment, aesthetics.
Doo-doo.
As the Cubs have partnered with Motorola Technology Corporation to put their logo on the sleeves of every Cubs jersey, which not every team has done that yet. The White Sox have not. We speculated humorously what might be on the White Sox sleeve eventually, but in previous episodes. But I hadn't heard anything about this, and you'd think the Cubs would have been one of the first, as they're one of the more corporate teams imaginable. But uh, Motorola, it makes sense at least. Motorola's headquarters are in Chicago. We actually have a mutual friend that has worked for Motorola. The batwing M logo in a circle is fairly iconic. It's pretty simple. It doesn't offend me as much as I thought it was going to on the Cubs uniform, mainly because they've agreed to match their color palette with the Cubs. So on the different jerseys, it blends in with the same color scheme at least, much like the Tigers did with Meyer grocery store chains. Um, you hardly notice the Meyer patch anymore, as I did a whole segment about it when they first introduced it last year. They've integrated the team colors into it, and you barely notice it anymore, which is it's kind of the opposite of the effect that I'm assuming these corporations are looking for when they put advertisements on. They kind of want people to notice them, but it doesn't offend me how the Tigers have done it with Meyer, and this doesn't offend me as much, or doesn't probably offends me a little bit more, just because of the sheer size of the
It's
Motorola patch.
huge.
It is an enormous circle. It's probably 4 inches in diameter on everyone's sleeve, so it is very noticeable. But at least it's very simple. It's not a word mark. It's just a logo, just a simple batwing M in the circle, and it integrates the colors. So it's one of the lesser offensive sleeve patches that I've seen across the league. The only other weird thing about it is San Diego Padres have already had Motorola sleeve patches for a couple of years now. So I don't think there's been a single corporation that sponsored two different teams. And I'm not quite sure what their connection to San Diego is. I mean, unless they have a separate headquarters there or something, I'm not sure how that came about. But it's kind of strange that two teams would have the exact same corporate sponsor on their jerseys. But I don't know. I'm all for it, I guess, if it means more revenue and they can actually go above the de facto salary cap and get more players this offseason. I'm all for it. Sadly, I don't think that's how that's going to play out. But
Right. It never does, right?
hmm.
More money to the ownership. Cha-ching.
Word Hole Media.